Welcome into the PHNX Bets Daily podcast, presented to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Johnny Venerable, joined by Sean DePaz, live at the PHNX headquarters in downtown Phoenix. Couple pretty big stories, Sean, in the betting scene. And let's start, of course, with the New York Mets seemingly acting like a thief in the night, taking away Carlos Correa, who I guess maybe kind of failed a physical with the San Diego Padres. He signs with them 13 years. And as we were talking about off air, the NL East mostly loaded, and the New York Mets now the favorite to win the NL. What are your thoughts on this move?
I mean, it's first off, it's a bad summer for GMs who have promised their fan bases big shortstop signings. Shout out the Boston Red Sox. You have also failed. But I mean, the NL East is you're just looking at basically everybody getting better except for the Braves, who I guess but we're already like a really good team and they didn't get that much worse. As far as the Mets are concerned, I'm curious what this means for Francisco Lindor and how where they're going to fit these guys. But regardless, their roster has gotten better. They're a scary team. I'm a little surprised that they are the NL favorites. And not only the NL favorites, I'm more surprised that the Phillies have the third best odds in their division. They are behind the Braves and the Mets. They're behind the Toronto Blue Jays in terms of winning the World Series, which surprises me. But that means there's some value because, I mean, the Phillies have gotten a lot better between signing Taijuan Walker, Trey Turner, and they were in the World Series last year.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you because it's difficult to project non-divisional winners to reach the World Series. And I know what happened this year with the Phillies, but third place in their own division. But you think about just the uncertainty of that wild card round and the fact it is such a benefit to stack wins in the regular season and to get those buys and to get that high seed now. It didn't used to be. It used to be when there were 4 teams, there was the one wild card team, everything kind of evened out. Now it's not so much like that. And I think with the odds, again, DraftKings has the New York Mets at plus 750. They are assuming that the Mets are going to run away with the NL East and that they're going to have, a very comfortable lead like they did this past year before they inexplicably blew it down the stretch. And it cost them. They lost in the first round of the postseason. And a lot of people, including myself, picked them to win the NL right around the trade deadline, right around the All-Star break. It is funny because you look at the landscape of the NL, the Padres plus 1,000 are right on the heels of the LA Dodgers at plus 750. I think we've seen the best of the Dodgers and the run thus far. I think they're going to look back and they're going to be the Braves team of the 90s where you're going to say that team only won one championship, especially when you consider that one title that the Dodgers had came during the pandemic. It was a bubble title, right? All that to say, I think this is great news if you're a Diamondbacks fan, which we all are, and the fact that you get Carlos Correa in the division, now out of the division in a span of 2 weeks. Very much of the mindset now. This helps the Diamondbacks in their pursuit of one of those wild card spots. So we talk about their over-under for the year, roughly 82, 83, 84 wins. I think that helps them a lot because, listen, the Giants are a non-factor again. I think we can all agree on that. It was a move that didn't make a lot of – it makes more sense for the Mets than it does for
I agree.
the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a D-backs fan looking at this, you're happy. Like, obviously, because, I mean, the D-backs haven't done anything yet, and I think that is going to change at some point, and that team is going to get better. Obviously, they finished third, right? The D-backs finished ahead of the Giants last year, right?
They did, yeah.
Or no? No? Oh, Jacob's shaking his head no. It was close.
They were ahead, and then the Giants pulled ahead at the end of the year.
That's okay. That's not, Regardless, it was very close, and I like a move like that, I think, makes the difference. Even, I mean, the Giants lost Rodon, which I think is pretty big for them. A guy who had not been as good as he was last year for most of his career, deal with injuries, stuff like that. But I mean, it was amazing last year, and him being out of the division is good. Not having to deal with Correa is for the next decade plus is good. And I think the Dodgers are still obviously the best team in the division. I think, but are the gap is closing between the Padres, Giants, Dodgers, D-backs. Rockies are still irrelevant. But it's very. I'm just interested to see what moves the D-backs make, because I think it'll end up making a big difference.
Where this really hurts the Giants, again, somehow plus 2,500 ahead of the Arizona Diamondbacks to win the National League. Diamondbacks plus 5,000. What it really hurts them is that you botch a signing like this. It's not just you miss out on Carlos Correa. And again, I don't know what's going on, the medicals, whatever. A lot of people think it was his agent who changed their mind, and they said they purposely failed the physical so he could go to the Mets because that's where he always wanted to go, and he had the offer later. Whatever it is. The Giants now, and there are still some free agents to be had. They missed out on that first wave of free agency now. And that was supposed to be your marquee addition of the offseason. Not only did you miss out on Carlos Correa, now you've missed out on other potential free agents. We talked about it off air, Shawn, that somebody like Dansby Swanson now goes to Chicago Cubs. Is that something the Giants would have been in on? Yeah. So I really think one move or botch move like this can torpedo your offseason. And in the case of the New York Mets, it can really, catapult you to the top of the National League. And you can on all of these future props for Major League Baseball right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Speaking of DraftKings, ladies and gentlemen, they have a banger of a promotion going on right now with us here at PHNX. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that promo code PHNX, place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game, get $150 in bets if they do. Again, you look ahead, Thursday night football, Saturday, Sunday football. It's fantastic. If you're looking at basically a guaranteed win this weekend, I like the Buffalo Bills over the Seattle Seahawks, the floundering Seahawks. And again, you don't have to mess around with the spread. It is merely the money line bet. So if you think the Bills are going to beat the Seahawks and you have not dabbled on DraftKings, deposit a mere $5. Use that promo code PHNX, get $150 in free bets if the Bills or any other team you bet on wins. That's only a DraftKings Sportsbook. Promo code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See those show notes for details. We're pivoting.
Real quick, the Seahawks play the Chiefs. The Bills play the Bears.
Excuse me, yes.
I still like the Bears. Staying away from the Seahawks, but the Bills. I still like the Bills over the Bears.
I like both of those matchups. Yeah. So you can double down on DraftKings. And I knew the Chiefs and the Bills played a couple cupcakes this weekend. The Bears were pretty feisty last week.
They're a feisty team. I feel like it's going to be one of those games where I'm worried for like the first quarter and a half, and then I realize that the Bills are way better than them, and then what happens.
I don't think we're going to see the Bills lose the rest of the regular season. I think
the Bengals game worries me a little bit, but otherwise, the other two I'm not worried about at all.
Love it. All right, so we're pivoting from Major League to the basketball hardwood. And before we get into DeAndre Ayton and Monty Williams, I want to talk about what went down in our bets last night. I did not fare so hot with my props. My picks, 2 for 3. I did really like the Knicks last night. I took their money line. They won big over the Golden State Warriors. I was all in last night on the hosting Nuggets beating up on the Grizzlies. That line was crazy. That line was something in the vicinity of only 2. And, John Morant did everything he could with his 35 and 10, but Nuggets ended up winning comfortably. But the one bet I missed on, the one that I thought was the easiest bet, was the Phoenix Suns. Yeah. And somehow they lost at home to the Washington Wizards in what should have been a coronation night with new ownership coming into town, good vibes, fresh vibes, right? But then you got Monty and DeAndre Ayton getting into it toward the end of the game, and they're trying to play dismissive. They're trying to do the PR work. I get that. This feels like something that's happening, Shawn, like every couple of months, and it leads me to believe, what was that piece of information in DeAndre Ayton's contract? Even if he signed with the team, he could not be traded until January plus. Well, it's the end of December right now. Do you think there's any chance that DeAndre Ayton is moved at the trading deadline?
I don't think so. I mean, I think to do that, you're giving up on the season, and obviously
really?
they've had stretches of struggle. I mean, I think it depends on what you're trading him for. But I mean, if you're the Nets, you're not giving up Kevin Durant right now. Like that situation has been rectified. So I don't know. I think if you trade for like a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or something like that, like cool, but that's not immediate. That's not like. You still don't have a big at that point. So I think I don't see it happening. They've had tough stretches, I think, at points of the season, but generally speaking, they're still a good team. And the NBA is the West is so wide open that to do that, I think you're giving up on the year. So I personally don't think there's any chance that happens.
The Phoenix Suns right now on DraftKings, you can get them at plus 1,000 to win the West. They are only behind the Warriors somehow, plus 900. Again, tells you the Warriors don't really take the first half of the regular season seriously. Then, of course, the LA Clippers at plus 800 right now are the favorites to win the West. Celtics are the overwhelming favorite to win the NBA title, plus 350. The Bucks at 600, and then the Nets at plus 900. So the Nets have catapulted over the Phoenix Suns. And I'm with you. The West is wide open. And I think that the best version of this Suns team, unless you have Kevin Durant, should include DeAndre Ayton. And you should take all these spare parts and rotational players that aren't getting it done and draft picks certainly and say, okay, can we get another star perimeter player to join Devin Booker? Because I feel like right now what we've seen from Chris Paul hasn't been great. Thankfully, he went down last night. He came back, should be okay by all accounts and purposes. Our guy Gerald was on top of that in the home loss last night. But I feel like we've said this for, 4 or 5 months now. They need more help. They need more shooting help for Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton might have some animosity with Monty, but like again, it's not showing up on the court. Well, he didn't play particularly well last night, but he's not their problem right now.
No. I mean, I think obviously Booker is the best player on this team, but DA is a close second in my opinion.
Easily second best.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's even who's third. Chris Paul, or who else would be second?
And that's the problem is you need a set of triplets here in Arizona.
Yeah, and I mean, I keep bringing this up too. They still have to trade Jay Crowder. They're not going to get a star out of a Jay Crowder trade, but they're going to get something that hopefully helps this roster. So they've kind of been playing a man down this year, and especially right now, like they have a bunch of injuries. Like they did not expect to lose Cam Johnson for as long as they have and will continue to not have him. So I think if you're a Suns fan, I understand why you might be a little concerned, but I think you wait until the trade deadline, wait until they move Jay Crowder, wait until eventually Cam comes back. I don't remember what his timeline is, but then you'll see what this team really is. I wouldn't be worried. And as far as the DA Monty relationship goes, like you said, it hasn't showed up on the court, and I think that's all you really have to worry about. Like if you have reason to believe that it's affecting the on-court performance, then it's an issue. But if they could be throwing hands on the sideline, if he's still going out there scoring 25, 30 points, who cares? So I am not worried about this team at all. And I think once they trade Jay Crowder and make whatever move they're going to make there, this team will get better.
Yeah, Damian Lee not getting it done last night, of course, just with the 2 points, averaging under 10 points for the year. Mikal Bridges, first round pick, needs to play better. They need more from their perimeter players, their rotational players, their role players. We'll see. How long are the Suns going to be patient? How long will you be patient with your bets on DraftKings? Again, Suns plus 1,000. We've got a banger of a lineup today at PHNX Programming. If you have not seen it already, and it all starts with our friends of PHNX Sun Devils. Shawn, what do you got planned for us?
We have a game tonight against San Francisco in San Francisco. Solid team, so it might be a little bit of a challenge for ASU, but they've got a number next to their name. This is the first game they'll play as a ranked team this year, so I'm excited for it.
We got a Coyote show. We got a U of A podcast, Wildcats with my guy Mike Luke, and of course, my favorite, PHNX Cardinals Live. Today, myself, Bo Brock. It's a double header, 4 p.m. We're talking Cards and, God help us, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Christmas Day. Then a little nightcap action for you, 9 p.m. PHNX Cardinals After Dark, Hard Knocks, how the team is going to spin Steve Keim's situation and more. Man, oh man, lock it in to PHNX Sports. Subscribe on the YouTube. Subscribe to PHNX Bets Daily Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Hit that like button on this YouTube video. Shawn, it is a pleasure. We hope to have Shane back at some point. He may just end up in a desert in Vegas, shirtless, pantless, dollarless, money-less. Yeah. We might have to go rescue him. Do a bets podcast one day in Las Vegas. On remote. That feels like inevitable at this point. It's inevitable that you like and subscribe this show. For Shawn DePaz, I'm Johnny Venerable. We're back tomorrow. Peace.